want to begin this year differently. Not by teaching you something new, but by naming something you already know. There's a subtle difference between learning and remembering. Learning adds and remembering returns. And what I've felt very clearly as we step into this year is that most of us don't need more information. We don't need another framework, another system, another method. We need space, we need honesty, and we need to come back into relationship with ourselves. For a long time now, we've been taught explicitly and implicitly to look outside ourselves for answers, for guidance, for permission. And that doesn't stop when people become spiritual. In many ways, it intensifies. We learn the language, we adopt the concepts, we quote the teachings. But quietly, something begins to fracture. Because the more we outsource authority, even to teachers we admire, ideas that resonate or systems that feel expansive, the further we drift from our own inner signal. What I've come to see in my own life, in my own body, is that most of our suffering doesn't come from lack of knowledge. It comes from self-betrayal, from moments where we knew and didn't listen, from sensations we felt and overrode, from truths that were present but inconvenient. This video isn't here to convince you of anything. It's not here to wake you up. It's not here to activate you. It's here to orient you back to yourself. As we move into 2026, I'm anchoring my work around one central teaching, one living thread that moves through everything I share: manifestation, power, consciousness, identity, embodiment. That teaching is simple, but it's not easy. Returning to your inner authority. Not authority over others, not dominance, not control, and not ego masquerading as confidence. Inner authority is quieter than that, more grounded, more honest. It's the capacity to trust what you sense, feel, and know before asking the world to tell you who you are. It's the ability to remain present with your own experience without immediately translating it through someone else's lenses. And right now, collectively, this return is necessary. We are living in a time of unprecedented access to information, endless content, endless opinions, endless interpretations of reality. And yet, clarity feels rare. Not because truth is hidden, but because our attention is fragmented. This year isn't about escaping the world. It's about stabilizing yourself within it. It's about becoming internally coherent so that the noise doesn't define you. Many of you watching this are deeply intelligent, sensitive, aware. You've done the work, you've read the books, you understand the concepts. You know about manifestation, you know about consciousness, and you know about identity and energy and alignment. And yet, something still feels off. There's a subtle exhaustion that comes from constantly trying to get it right. From measuring yourself against ideas of how awakened, healed, aligned, or expanded you should be. From knowing what's truly intellectual, but not feeling settled inside yourself. And here's the piece that often gets missed. Knowing is not the same as living. Clarity does not come from collecting more ideas. It comes from coherence, from being aligned with yourself, mind, body, and presence moving in the same direction. When authority lives outside you, your system never truly rests. You're always checking, comparing, and adjusting. But when authority returns inward, something else happens. You slow down, you listen, you respond instead of react. Here's the truth I want to speak clearly, and I want to let it land gently. Your life does not change when you learn more. It changes when you stop outsourcing authority. Every time you ignore your body's signals, every time you override your intuition, every time you ask for permission to trust yourself, authority moves outward. And it doesn't move outward all at once. It happens in small, almost invisible moments. You feel tired, but push through. You sense something isn't aligned, but rationalize it. You know the answer, but ask 5 people anyway. None of this makes you wrong, it makes you human. But over time, those moments add up, and eventually people begin to feel disconnected from themselves without knowing why. This year is about bringing authority back, not through force, not through discipline, but through relationship. Relationship with your body, relationship with your inner timing, relationship with your own perception. Inner authority isn't loud. It doesn't demand attention. It waits. A lot of people talk about power as something to claim, something to activate, and something to step into. But real power is not something you put on. It's something you stop giving away. Manifestation doesn't respond to effort. It responds to congruence. When your inner world is fragmented, no technique will stabilize your outer world. But when you are internally coherent, when what you feel, say, and do are aligned, life begins to respond differently, not magically, naturally. This is why so many people feel like they're doing everything right and still not experiencing the life they sense is possible. They're trying to create from the mind what can only be generated from the embodied authority. Over the course of 2026, everything I share will move through 4 living phases. These aren't lessons, these are not levels, and they are not something you achieve. They're experiences. You don't need to memorize them, you'll feel them as they arrive. Orientation. This is where we begin, seeing clearly where authority has been given away. To beliefs, systems, expectations, identities that no longer fit. Not with judgment, with curiosity. Embodiment. This is where authority returns to the body, where sensation becomes information again, where presence replaces performance. Expression. This is where you begin to speak, create, and move from your own inner law, not borrowed language or external permission. And lastly, integration. Finally, living what you know, not in isolation, but in a relationship with the world as it is. These phases aren't linear, they're spiral, they overlap, and they meet you exactly where you are. I want to be very clear about something. This is not about becoming someone else. It's not about ascending. It's not about escaping the human experience. And it's definitely not about fixing yourself, because there is nothing wrong with you. The work is about coming back into relationship with yourself, in your actual life, in your actual body, right where you are. And that requires honesty, not perfection, not spiritual bypassing, not constant positivity. Honesty. Honesty about what feels aligned, honesty about what doesn't, honesty about where you've been living from habit instead of truth. Inner authority doesn't demand that you get it right. It asks that you stay present. My role here is not to lead you away from yourself. It's to walk alongside you while you remember how to trust yourself again. I don't want followers, I don't want dependency, and I don't want to be placed above your own knowing. What I want, what genuinely matters to me, is grounded, sovereign humans who are willing to take responsibility for their own experience. People who can listen, discern, and choose without collapsing into doubt or inflating into certainty. This space is not about answers, it's about orientation. Some of what I share will remain public. Orientations belong in the open. And some of this work requires containment, space to slow down, to feel, to integrate without pressure or noise. If you feel called into that depth, you'll find your way there. No urgency, no convincing, no pushing. Inner authority can't be rushed. If you take nothing else from this video, let it be this. You already know more than you trust yourself to live. This year is not about becoming powerful. It's about remembering that you already are. What comes next isn't about doing anything differently. It's about noticing where you've already been responding from. If you feel called, join me in the next video to begin that noticing together.